The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that states can ban transgender women from competing in female school and college sports, upholding the bans upheld by all 9 justices who decided these state restrictions do not violate Title IX's prohibition against sex-based discrimination. Key entities involved include Lindsay Hickox, Becky Pepper Jackson, Justice Brett Kavanaugh representing the court, and the U.S. Supreme Court overseeing this decision. The ruling takes place within the United States context where such bans are legal under current law as long as they do not discriminate based on gender identity in schools covered by Title IX. All 9 justices agree that these state regulations for transgender women competing in female sports remain lawful under federal civil rights protections established by Title IX, which prohibits sex-based discrimination. The court's decision maintains the existing framework allowing states to implement such bans without violating broader legal standards related to athletic participation, equity, and gender equality policies enforced across educational institutions nationwide. The ruling preserves current practices regarding eligibility for competition among transgender athletes in female divisions at schools and colleges, while affirming that these restrictions align with established Title IX protections against sex-based discrimination. This decision solidifies the precedent set by previous rulings on similar matters concerning transgender individuals' rights to participate fairly within competitive sports environments governed under federal law. The next steps will involve monitoring how this ruling impacts ongoing discussions about eligibility criteria for athletes who identify as female but have biological male characteristics, potentially influencing future policy adjustments at various levels of educational institutions regarding compliance with Title IX regulations. Egg producers have agreed to a settlement with the Department of Justice and 17 states over allegations of price fixing. The agreement resolves an ongoing investigation into whether major egg producers colluded on pricing strategies across multiple markets. The deal involves undisclosed financial terms, but confirms that federal authorities found sufficient evidence to pursue legal action against several prominent poultry companies. This marks one of the largest enforcement actions related to agricultural commodity pricing in recent years, potentially setting a precedent for future regulatory scrutiny of similar industries. Officials from both sides emphasize the importance of maintaining fair market practices and preventing anti-competitive behavior among producers. The settlement also signals broader efforts by regulators to monitor price stability within key food supply chains as consumer prices rise nationwide. Next steps include formal court filings outlining the terms of the agreement, which could be finalized in coming weeks pending judicial approval. Industry stakeholders are closely watching how this resolution may impact pricing trends and market competition moving forward. Avi Loeb, a cosmologist who studied black holes and served as head of Harvard's astronomy department until 2020, was recently appointed to helm a new scientific advisory council tasked with investigating the origins of mysterious orbs and other objects reported by military personnel in recent years. White House picks Harvard professor with polarizing alien theories to lead new UFO Council. The next question is how allies respond and whether defense officials provide more detail on timing, troop levels, or replacements. President Donald Trump has announced that Republicans will hold their first-ever national convention ahead of the midterm elections, an unusual event aimed at boosting turnout in races that will decide whether the party maintains control of Congress. U.S. Representative. Republicans have only slim majorities in Congress, and the party in power normally loses ground in the midterms. Trump announces Republican midterm convention in Dallas in September. The next step is whether officials turn the reported action into a clear timeline, rule, or public response. Denmark asked the IOC to recognize its territories Greenland and the Faroe Islands as independent Olympic teams, the national parliament said Tuesday. The IOC recognizes 206 national Olympic bodies, which is 13 more than the United Nations has member states, and is unlikely to support Denmark's request. The Olympic body's policy since 1996 has been to recognize only independent states, such as Kosovo in 2014 and South Sudan the next year. Country as an independent state recognized by the international community. Two biathletes from Greenland competed for Denmark at the Milan Cortina Olympics in February. Denmark urges IOC to recognize territories of Greenland and Faroe Islands as independent Olympic teams. A search was underway for a suspect who fled on foot after an explosion at the entrance to an apartment building in Monaco late Monday. Chief Prosecutor Stefan Thibault said the blast wounded a Ukrainian tycoon with ties to Russia and two other people. However, investigators have not yet identified any suspects or determined the motive behind the attack. Key figures involved include Vadym Yermolaiev, who renounced his Ukrainian citizenship years ago and was sanctioned by Ukraine in 2023 for Russian connections. Vladimir Putin's administration has been accused of orchestrating targeted killings since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. And President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the horrific attacks as strikes elsewhere killed at least a dozen people. The incident occurred near Monaco, where authorities are actively searching for any person who fled after the blast. This emphasizes that no motive has been established yet. The remaining polling caveat is how the surveyed population and margin of error shape the finding.